Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Miguel back again with another video, and today I have the Xiaomi Redmi 13 Pro Plus, and this is the Fan Festival Edition. And what's special about this is that this is actually launched on the anniversary or as an anniversary edition, and this just came out a couple of days back. To tell you guys a little bit about this device, this is very clearly an upper mid-range phone, but it's really trying to be a flagship, and this pretty much hits every flagship checkbox out there, apart from just one small thing which kind of hinders it from becoming a full flagship. But at around $500, which is not bad at all, it's just under 2,000 dirhams. If you find the regular or the non-special edition version, you'll be able to get it from within 1,300 to 1,600 dirhams depending on the specs that you go with. This one, I'm assuming, is going to be a little bit higher, so I think this is going to cost you around 1,800 dirhams, and this may or may not be available everywhere. There is really nothing special about this apart from just the color scheme, and I wouldn't say design, but the color scheme and just a small detail is what differs this from the regular ones. But functionality wise, specs wise, this is pretty much the exact same phone. So let's go ahead and unbox it and see what we have. And we have a pretty thick box, which tells us that we're gonna see a lot of things in here. So we have the booklet, we have the SIM pin, we have some of the paperwork, and then we also have, I'll get to that in a little bit, we have the paperwork, and then we also have the silicone case, which is a dark gray kind of color, which kind of complements the phone. And then we also have these stickers, which are for the Xiaomi Fan Festival Edition. Now we have the phone, which I'll put to the side. And then we also get the regular charger, which is 120 watts, not regular by any means, but this is the same charger that you also get with the regular non-special edition. 120 watt charger, and then finally the USB-C cable. Reading some of the specs right on top of this, we have a 200 megapixel camera, we have a 1.5K 120 Hz AMOLED display, you also have Mediatek's Dymesity 7200 chip, and you have a 5000 milliampere battery. On top of that, you also get IP68 dust and water resistance. So as I said, this pretty much ticks every flagship box out there, but it kind of lacks in one place, which I'll get to that. Now, just looking at the phone, this is such a pretty phone to look at because of the way that it's been. I like the two-tone. The two-tone is kind of a thing with the 13 Pro Plus, but the silver color is just such a unique color. It looks so good. It kind of reminds me of the two-tone iPhone back in the days, the iPhone, I think the first iPhone that ever came out. I don't know why it just reminded me of that. I don't think a lot of people can relate to that, but it just kind of gave me a little bit of a similar vibe to it. But I just really like the way that it looks, and this is a very soft touch, and this is actually made up of glass. So another thing about this is that the phone is made up of glass. All of it, the front, the back is made up of glass, so you are getting premium materials there. The front is actually Gorilla Glass Victus. But looking at the design, this is what kind of differs the phone from the regular edition. So the special Fan Festival Edition is this logo over here, and this is not really, it doesn't have any engravings, it's not like it's textured, it's just a little bit of a logo that shows you that this is the special edition, and that's pretty much the main difference in this phone as compared to the other regular phones. Looking at the display, you have a 6.7-inch AMOLED display which has 120 Hz refresh rate, so you are getting the top-notch quality there. It does not have LTPO, but it does go down from 120 to 60 whenever it's needed. And there's one instance that it actually goes down to 30 Hz, but that's only for about 10 seconds, and that's when you have the always-on display. Not something that is going to be useful, but just there is that piece of information out there. But yes, you do get 120 Hz here, and then you also have a 1.5K resolution. You have HDR10 Plus support over here, and the colors are just pretty good. I mean, this is as good as it gets. I've seen other flagship phones with the really good displays. This matches pretty much that as well, so I have no complaints whatsoever when it comes to the display. And you also have Gorilla Glass Victus on the front, so you are getting premium protection as well. Just looking at it design wise, I like the fact that both the front and the back are slightly curved, which makes the phone feel very good in the hands. But there's also one small detail, is that the sides are actually flat, and because of that, the phone doesn't seem to slip out of your hands. One complaint that I've had with other phones that have a curved display and a curved back is that it kind of feels like it's slipping out of your hands. But because this has just a very slight flat edge on this side, it feels really good in the hands, and it feels like you have a nice grip to it. You have an infrared sensor here on top. You have one of the speakers. You have your triple camera setup over here, which I'll talk about in a little bit. You have your flash over here, which is a little bit of a different design. I like the way that it looks. And then on this side, you have another stereo speaker. You have your USB-C port, and you have your SIM tray, which will support 2 SIMs, and it does not have the option of an external memory card. Now, I mentioned that this phone is pretty much a flagship phone from every angle except just one, and that's the performance. Now, I'm not saying that the performance is bad in any way, but it's not nearly as high as I would like to see on a recent 2024 phone that is pretty much aiming to be a flagship. Now, I'm not mad at this. This comes with Mediatek's Dymesity 7200 chip, which is a really good chip. And as you can see from the Antutu benchmark V10, this is 725,000 points. Now, this falls just a little bit lower than the OnePlus Nord 3 that hits just around 900,000 points. So this is just slightly lower than if I were to compare this with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip. I think this is kind of right there, or just slightly lower than that. So that's my only complaint, and not as a complaint that it's going to slow your phone down in any way, but I just wish that the chip was just slightly faster, or a little bit of a better chip. And that's pretty much it. That would kind of make this a true flagship, but I can understand why they didn't do that. And then you also have to look at the price point. At this price point, you don't expect flagship phones. You don't expect a phone to be hitting every single tick whenever it comes to that. So that's pretty fine by me. You can play games like PUBG and pretty much every game out there. This actually is packed with a bunch of games that come pre-installed with it. But then we also tested it out on PUBG. There was no problem whatsoever. We were able to play for quite a long time without any heating or thermal throttling. The battery is a 5,000 milliampere battery, and it's not exactly what I wanted it, or it's not what I've seen on other 5,000 milliampere phones. And by that I mean that it was slightly underperforming as compared to other phones that I've reviewed with similar battery capacity. And that's because this gave me a little bit of a lesser time. So it was around 10 hours and 40 minutes combined, doing pretty much everything. It's fine, but I've seen similar phones give me around 12 hours as well. So that's just that's a very small complaint that I have over there. The thing about it is, though, that it does come with a 120 watt charger, so you are able to charge your phone pretty quickly. Now, Xiaomi advertises this as being charged from 0 to 100% in 19 minutes, but realistically, when we tested it out, this gave us it took 25 minutes to charge from 0 to 100%. Nevertheless, it's still pretty quick. And in 5 minutes, it was able to give us, I think, about 30 something. So it's still pretty quick. I'm not complaining about that. I just wish that the battery endurance was just a little bit longer. If we look at the software, then this comes with the Android 13 pre-installed into this, but you can also upgrade it to Android 14. And this also comes with MIUI 14, but you are able to upgrade this to HyperOS later on. And you are going to get about 3 years of updates, and I think 4 years of security patches. Now, when we talk about the cameras, this is probably one of the most underrated cameras that I've seen on a phone that costs this much, because this has a triple camera sensor that, as you can see over here, we have a 200 megapixel main camera, and then you also have an 8 megapixel ultra wide camera, and then you also have a 2 megapixel macro lens. The main obviously is the 200 megapixel camera, which stands out, and it was one of the best cameras that I've seen. Considering this price point, I don't think it gets any better than this, because even though this is a phone that's classified as an all-rounder phone, it's also a camera-centered phone. So if you want to buy a phone that will give you good picture quality, this is a phone that you should seriously consider. I was kind of blown away by the picture quality that this had. And the bokeh, the zoom effect, just the background blur that was giving me, and even video, you're able to shoot 4K video with this, and you have electronic image stabilization on at all times except for the macro lens, which is, I think, pretty obvious. It honestly blows me away that a phone that costs less than 2,000 dirhams is able to give out this quality pictures. And if you compare these to an iPhone, I'm pretty sure that if you go ahead and take pictures with an iPhone 15 Pro Max right now and compare these side by side, you won't be able to tell which one is the iPhone and which one is the Redmi. That is a statement in itself. So there's no complaints about the camera whatsoever, and as I mentioned, this is pretty much an all-rounder phone, but it is also a very good camera phone in my opinion. And cost-wise, I already mentioned in the beginning that this will cost you around $500, and it officially it is available on noon.com right now. You can get it on SureDG as well. But the special edition is something that you may not be able to get your hands on. This comes with 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of internal storage, or it also comes with 12 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of internal storage, which is what we have today. And you're able to find this on the regular phone as well. So with not only in the special edition, but you're also able to get this on the other phone. So yeah, guys, that's my review on the Xiaomi 13 Pro Plus. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.